Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. Welcome to Puvanur RVIR Laya Academy of Music and Mathematics. We are now covering the salient features in each of the levels, whatever we have learned so far. Today I am going to refresh the salient features, what we learned as part of level 3. Before I start this class, I will start it with the Thirukkural. ஆற்றாரும் ஆற்றி அடுவர் இடன் அறிந்து போற்றார்கண் போற்றிச் செய்யின். What is the meaning of it? பகைவரை வெல்லுதற்கேற்ற இடத்தை அறிந்து தம்மை பாதுகாத்து கொண்டு போர் தொழிலை செய்தால் வலிமை இல்லாதவரும் வலிமை அடைந்து வெற்றி பெறுவர். So first of all, before you attack an enemy, first of all you should find the right place where you should attack him. Then you should also protect yourself sufficiently with your people. Then if you can do your strategize, your planning, even though you're weaker than your enemy, you will be able to win over with your strategy. That's what Thiruvallur mentions in this Thirukkural. Use this, let's harp on this good thought and I'll enter into this class. Today we are going to learn the salient features, what we learned in level 3. Level 3 was more an introduction of advanced syllabus. After graduating level 1 and level 2, level 3 is slightly advanced for students to continue in Laya journey. Level 3 primarily focused on the 35 thalas. The Sapta thalas, what we saw, were Dhruva thalam, Matya thalam, Jhampa thalam, Rupaka thalam, Ada thalam, Eka thalam, Tripata thalam. So we saw all these Sapta thalas. We also got to know what are the 5 jatis. Tisra jati, Chatusra jati, Ghanta jati, Misra jati, Sangirna jati. Then the evolution of these jatis and these saptathalas formulated this 35 thalas. 7 thalas into 5 jatis, 35 thalas. We also saw the evolution of 175 thalas with the concept or introduction of nadais, pancha nadais, which is Tisra nadai, Chatusra nadai, Ganda nadai, Misra nadai, Sangirna nadai, and 35 into these 5 nadais, we got an evolution of 175 thalas. So first of all, we need to understand this theoretical part because we might be exposed later in our journey to play few of the thalas in this 35 thalas, though not all. So we need to be equipped with this 35 thala funda. We also saw and understood the structures underlying each of these thalas, and also the definition of a structure and what group each thala is composed of. We also got introduced to the acronyms like Lagu, Dhrutham, Anudrutham, and these were the 3 things which we got introduced now. There are of course other angas like Guru, Plitham, Kakapadam, which we are going to deal as a subjective element in level 6. As part of 35 thalas, the thalas what we considered to play were Tisra Jadi Tripata Thalam, Ganda Jadi Tripata Thalam, Misra Jadi Jhampa Thalam, Misra Jadi Tripata Thalam, Sangirna Jadi Tripata Thalam. So 7 beats, 9 beats, 10 beats, 11 beats and 13 beats. We also saw how to play for Tisra Nadai Thalam as well. like thakitta, 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 thakitta in Adi Thalam. We also saw those elements. Also, the structure of all the Saptathalas one should be conversant with. If somebody asks you what is the structure of Dhruva Thalam, the Dhruva Thalam structure is one Lagu, one Dhritam and two Dhritams. The structure of Matya Thalam is one Lagu, one Dhritam, one Lagu. And if you want to look at the structure of Tripada Thalam, one Lagu, two Dhritams. If you look at the structure of Rupaka Thalam, one Dhritam and one Lagu. If you look at her structure of the Champathala is one Lagu, one Anudhritam and one Dhritam. And if you look at a concept of Ekathalam is only one Lagu. Concept of Adathalam is two Lagus and two Dhritams. So these are mandatory for you to learn. These Lagu variations is based on the Jatis, on the Pancha Jatis, the Lagu variations happen. For example, if you want to play a Tisra Jadi Tripatatalam, Tisram is 3. Ta 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you know what is Tisram, what is the Jadi. First of all, you should understand. You should know the structure of Tripatatalam. It has one Lagu and one Dhritam, and that's how you should form and arrive at number of beats a particular Thala is composed of. And if you want to know, understand and do a math of a Sangirna Jadi Dhruvatalam, so Sangirnam is 9. How do we do the math? And what is the structure of Dhruvatalam? One Lagu, one Dhritam and two Lagus. So in total there are 3 Lagus. Each Lagu has got 9 beats. So 3 into 9 is 27 and one Dhritam is 2 plus 2 is 29. It's 29 beats is Sangirna Jadi Dhruvatalam. Likewise, you need to work, first of all, understand the structure of these Saptathalas, understand what Jadis means, and each Jadi what is the representing number, and then you will be able to do a math of how many beats it is for each of these 35 thalas. So this is the big learning. And then we also started learning, I took examples of 5 thalas, like 7 beats, 9 beats, 10 beats, 11 beats, and 13 beats, and each of which I told you, like, don't do it afresh, do it a relational way. Meaning, if you want to do Tisra Jadi Tripatatalam 7 beat, you have to take 8 beat, which is the closest, and then you can start adapting that particular sequence to this particular thala. So that is a collaborative study. The study where whatever you learnt in Adi Thalam, you try to concise it to Tisra Jadi Tripatatalam. For example, ta din din na, taka din din na, din din na, kadataka dim, kadataka takadimi. What you need to concise in this particular example is the first 4 is constrained to 3 beats. Takita taka din din na, that din din na, kadataka din, kadataka takadimi. So the first half, if you can change to a different sequence, the whole sequence get adapted to it, and you can play end to end for all the families of kadataka dim, talangadim, takadimi. Similarly, for whatever the beats, whatever the sequences you've learned in Adi Thala, try to convert and then try playing for this Tisra Jadi Tripada. Likewise, you can convert because 9 Ganda Jadi Tripada Thalam is again one more from the Adi Thalam. You can have to add din kittu taka din din na, that din din na, kadaka din din na, so if you can adapt from Adi Thalam to Ganda Tripada, then that adaptation is good enough for you to go through the entire cycle. So that is called a relational learning, and it's easier for you to go about attacking this thala in no time. So it's not, you should not go afresh and then start learning from the beginning and then try to see on your own what you can do. That you should not do it. You should do it in a relational style. It's easier. It's a faster approach. And also for Misra Jadi Champai, you can think of many different possibilities. If a Misra Jadi Champai is 10 beats, which can be a combination of 5 and a 5, or it can be a combination of a 3 and a 7, or it can be a combination of a 2 and 8. And depending on this combination, you can adapt those elements into the thala. For example, if you are using a 5-5 split, you can use Ganda Chapathala into the Misra Jadi Jampathala. If you want to use a break of a 3 and a 7, you can use a combination of a Rupakathalam and a Misra Chapathalam, which is a combination of a 3 and a 7 and 10. So depending on the dissection you make on a thala, you can use the adaptation from relevant thalas and suit it accordingly. So these are all the learnings which I taught you in level 3. You can refresh back and look into my classes in detail how we went about it. More so, it was very interesting for the 11 and the 13 beats, where I taught you how you can arrive at 11 beat till the 7 beat, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, how you can really form a particular sequence. Tad din na, tad din na, tad din na, din kit taka din na. How I gave you several varieties of tad din na itself to be approached into this 11 and the 11 beats and 13 beats. We saw all these sequences. Then we also learned Mora Korwe. The Mora Korwe is more interestingly, I also taught a technique of how to go about forming a Mora, the technique, the formulas, different Tirmanams which you need to play for as a small frills towards the end of the song. All those all those frills, Tirmanams, what you need to interlude and fill between the songs we saw, several aspects. This is one part is understanding a particular thala, adapting a particular thala. It's not it actually. All you need to do is take it as pieces, ensure that you play, and then also tell it and see how positionally where all each gets broken and it comes to those structures. And then when you actually master it, and that's where your learning becomes complete. And especially, I also taught you a concept like you can play samam to samam Mora Korwe, but if you want to play, make it more traditional, sampradaya, it should fall within the jati. You can't play for 11 aksharas or a 13 aksharas a samam to samam Mora Korwe which will not be accepted by scientifically, because the reason is it should fall into the jati. It can be 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. Any of these jatis is whatever the Mora or Korwe you make, you can actually fit it. This learnings also we made, but however we didn't say that we cannot do it, because the reason being it's only showing the intelligence of your arithmetic progression, how you can actually fit in different structure. So there are many Vidwans who have taken this to many different dimensions. They have used their own imaginations and carved out intelligent structures which are acceptable and are deemed as beautiful Laya patterns or works done by them. We will give due credits for all this, but the underlying point is, and if you really want to make a perfect Mohara Korwe, it should be fall within the jati. That's the message what I got from my gurus, and that's what I'm tabling here as part of my teaching, as part of level 3 here. So these were all the learnings what we went in level 3, and I want you to focus on level 3 as part of your practice. Take once in a while and then do an adaptation and try to play this so that you're proficient when you're exposed to play any one of these talas. It gives you an idea. The research and analysis what I would like you to do as part of learning in level 3 when you're handling 35 talas is more helpful when you are exposed to play for a pallavi in some rare talas like Adatalam, like Ganda Jadi Adatalam, Misra Jadi Adatalam, or Tisra Jadi Matya Thalam, or no, these sort of Ganda Jadi Champatalam, or if you get these sort of cycles, how are you going to handle it? For that, it should be, if you can do your homework and then try to see how you can adapt from the closest thala, whatever you have learned. And if you have any doubts, you can clarify it with me. So that gives you a good exposure how to go about it. And what Mora Korwe you have to play, what Tirmanams you can play, how you can build the structure in those thalas interestingly, how to play nadais, you should do your collaborative study. If you can do that, that can improve your knowledge tremendously. With these good thoughts, with these refreshing notes, I'm concluding the salient features what we saw in level 3. And for detailed coverage, I would recommend strongly to go and for each and every classes what I would cover, where I had covered at length and detailed out how to go about it with variety of ideas and have a look at it and enrich your knowledge at your own pace. As my model is called Swayambhu, you can learn at your own pace and enjoy the bliss of music. I'll conclude this class with the Tirukkural. எண்ணியார் எண்ணம் இழப்பர் இடன் அறிந்து துண்ணியார் துண்ணிச் செய்யின். What is the meaning of it? பாதுகாப்புள்ள இடத்தை பொருந்தி நின்று போர் செய்வாராயின் அவரை வெல்ல எண்ணியிருந்த பகைவர் தன் எண்ணத்தை கைவிடுவர். If you are actually safe and start attacking your enemies, and you will be able to win over anyone and you can conquer the world. And that's the crux of this Tirukkural. With this, I'm concluding this class. I'll see you in the next class with the salient features of level 4 and what were the learnings we have undergone as part of level 4. Until then, Puvanur Ave here, signing off.